reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
No one has deals like I do. No beast, no man, no god. I am literally killing the competition. My slaughter will flood this marketplace in an ocean of bloody bargains. Buy or die.
Happiness mode engaged.
Hello. I'm back.
Welcome.
Ready for action.
Happy to meet you, Hero.
Glad to have you with us.
You'll find everything you need here.
Hail, traveler.
Wake up, you motherless Edens. It's time to go.
I'd offer the traditional pirate's greeting, but your spleen is better unperforated.
You're listening to Guild Wars Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMOReporter and by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon at doghousesystems.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of Guild Wars Reporter. This is episode 157. I am Celeste, and as always, I am joined by the astute Allona.
Thank you, captivating Celeste.
Ooh, I like that.
See, I told you I found some good ones.
You did.
That one jumped out right away as this is the word.
This is the word.
This is the word I'm using today on our new old night.
Our new old night. I know, it feels like we need to kind of rechristen it.
Well, I got water on my desk. I could sprinkle it on the computer, but I don't necessarily think that's going to help matters.
No, that certainly won't help very much. I guess we'll just have to, deal with just having to do an episode.
And realistically, a christening would have to happen with fruit juice. And I don't have any.
This is very true.
Now I'm sad of any night that I should have it.
I'm sure that we shall both survive.
Yes, I guess.
We shall. Allona, what did you do in-game this week to survive?
To survive? So many things.
Oh, yes?
I got my 16k chest.
Yay!
Yay! I was working towards it, and then kind of hadn't really got that many more points towards it. And then I was doing, I don't know, PvP for the daily or something, and all of a sudden there's what's this chest for? Oh, it's my 16k chest. Yay!
Do-do-do-do!
Woo! So many more to go.
Yeah, I am still grinding away on my 10k. I still haven't gotten it.
Well, you've been working on your
I have.
The story.
Yes.
But I also did guild missions with Maven on Monday. I put that in the second spot so I wouldn't forget about it. Because I always forget that one. A bit of I didn't lose, so I didn't have to make the embarrassing noise. Yay!
Well, that's good.
Yes, that's really the takeaway of the entire thing. Did I have to make... Oh, and I got a Heroes banner as a drop from one of the rewards.
Cool.
So I have to use it at some point.
Yes.
I probably should have used it Saturday.
Oh well.
But I didn't. Chugging along with map completion on my warrior. I've decided that I need to concentrate zone completions probably on a specific character.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's the daily daily events is in a zone that character has completion on, then I'll swap out to one of the other ones. But that's my goal. My next goal is to get map completion for Tildy, my warrior. Because I was doing that, I finished Hearts in Fireheart Rise, I think it is, and bought all the Karma recipes for the God Skull weapons.
Yeah.
And holy crap, they all take large skulls and multiples of them. So it's no wonder the weapons are so expensive to buy from the trading post. I had 13 ever, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so now I need to somehow find out how to get more large skulls, because I need more so I can make more of these weapons.
I'm gonna have to figure that out too, because it takes 3 of the large skulls per recipe.
Right.
And that gets expensive really fast.
The large skulls alone are like almost 32 silver.
It's equivalent to having an ecto.
And a lot harder to get. Yeah. So I was like, oh, this will be easy. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, denied. I have enough to make 3.
Yeah.
Great. I PvP'd a bit. On this past weekend, I only got 1 match in Stronghold because I decided I would leave it up to chance and left, because this past beta weekend, you could choose. There were little check boxes, so you could either choose only Conquest, only Stronghold, or leave them both checked. Could you uncheck both? That would be really funny.
No, if you unchecked one, you couldn't uncheck the other.
Darn. So I left it up to chance, and I only got Stronghold once.
Huh.
Granted, I didn't play an awful lot. Like, that's maybe 5 tries over the weekend.
Okay.
Our team lost that match.
Hmm.
I actually hadn't watched the points of interest until after the beta weekend, essentially.
Same here.
And I'm like, oh, that's why there was no supply. It's like, way to be informed.
Yep.
I played around with the Revenant, obviously, and I opened all 3 chests of materials at once, which was a bad idea, and we're going to talk about that later. Fungeons and Fractals on Saturday, and again, they went really smooth, even with the addition of Agony in Fractals, and Amok is really stepping up our game. That's all I got to say.
Nice.
We're not near as gong showy as we normally are. And we had a bunch of people, like by our standards, a bunch of people on last night, randomly, and we ran 2 groups around Melkor's for the daily.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ran a couple Fungeons. I was only in the first run. I talked with Panther afterwards, and he said the other one went good too. So we did Citadel Flame first, and then they did Honor of Waves after I logged off. It was a really good night. And yeah, hashtag in chat. She ran with us for Fungeons and Fractals. I think it was one of her first time in Fractals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
With Agony Resist even.
That part, no.
Oh. Ugh.
The rest of us ran point on that.
Ah.
But it went fine, especially with the lower levels. So if you have one person without, it's not disastrous.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a huge deal. I think if you were running with people who are really good, you could probably get away with 2 people not having agony resistance in the low levels of agony.
Okay.
But yeah, it went good. I had fun. Kamikaze Asuran, yes. So that's what I did. And what did you do?
I got to 400 on my weaponsmith, on my engineer.
Yay!
That's kind of like why I knew about the God Skull, because I ended up crafting a couple of those to get up to the next tier, because I had all the recipes already on that character. So because I was doing weaponsmith, I ended up working on Ogre, Crate, and the God Skull set collections.
Okay.
Which I apparently had never gotten an Ogre Tooth, so I had to go and farm it. It took me like an hour.
You know what? I don't even know if I have that.
Kind of boring, but whatever. I did the same sort of thing with the Grawl. Whatevs. I got up to 114 magic find, and that's mostly because I haven't been salvaging things, like, at all.
Do you have any of the permanent salvage kits?
I have the silver.
Yeah. Not the copper?
No, I don't have the copper.
Okay.
For whites, I'll usually salvage them with the basic.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really get anything from that, usually. And then the blues and the greens, I would just merch.
Oh.
And then rare and exotic, I would use the silver on.
I salvage everything.
I was in that mode for a long time, and I was like, I don't want to spend a silver almost a silver, to salvage blues and greens that aren't going to grant me very much anyways. So it's just like,
I want the materials, especially cloth items.
And I'm having to get back into that habit to do it more often. Because crafting and materials and
everything.
Need all that stuff, especially if I'm going to make Ascended stuff eventually.
Yeah.
So I also managed to get, I don't know how, but I've gotten enough of the +1 infusions that I've gotten 2 now of the +5 resistance things completed.
Yay!
I think it takes like 10 per almost.
What do you mean, 10 per... What?
10 of the +1s to get to a +5 because it's progressively more.
Oh, right. I just got the versatile from the merchant in the... when you first
Of
go.
course you did.
Yeah. I just got 2 of those and plunked them in. There we go. There's 10 agony resistance.
Got it. I took the Revenant into the Silver Wastes, and I did some PvP, which I did 1 match of Conquest, and that was an accident because I was queued for both. And then 2 matches of Stronghold. It was my first time playing Revenant.
Okay. Ever?
Ever.
Oh.
I was mostly confused, and I died a lot, but, it was pretty fun, I guess.
Yeah. I actually really like it. I can see it being my primary heavy when all's said and done. I'm curious to see what it's going to look like when it's complete.
Maybe if I want to go a lot more healing based, I'll do it, but I don't see me using it often.
But you like Monk from Guild
I
Wars 1.
do. I really, really do. And I really, really like the bow staff, but it didn't feel tuned properly yet.
Oh, yeah. No, they're still working on it.
It may have also been the gear that I decided to opt into, so it probably wasn't the best kitting out.
Well.
But, considering it was my first time playing it, I only had Monday morning to play it.
You made the most of the time available.
Yeah, and for the Stronghold, I won 1, lost 1, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, that is good. What did you think of it?
Stronghold, I like it. I'm surprised that, I watched Points of Interest today, but I'm surprised that even with Points of Interest being on Friday, I never saw anybody using the Treb during the matches.
Yeah.
It's such a great feature, and it works so well, and the way that they buffed it seems like it's a great thing to use.
I specifically went to use the Treb, but there was an enemy player destroying it, so I was attacking them. They got the Treb down, but then I was able to take them down. So I never got to use the Treb.
Right.
But I did go specifically to try use it.
Oh, better than nothing.
Yeah.
I tried to do Meeting the Azura, which is one of the Seeds of Truth instances. You're playing as Kaith, and you are being all stealthy and trying to get through the Inquest area where they're stuttering the other Sylvari. And I have done it about 10 times, and I always get detected in the boss room, like, mid-battle. I'm like, really? So I'm very frustrated with that right now, even though I need to do that instance so I can get the last piece of Ascended jewelry that I need for my Mesmer.
Well, I'm wondering, is that one that if you went in with someone else, you could stay stealthed while they didn't? Or does everyone at that point have to stay stealthed? I'm not sure how that one works.
I'm not sure how that one works either. I need to probably go in with a buddy and try it. See if they get revealed, if I would get revealed also.
Yeah. Have you looked up any guides for it yet?
Oh, yeah. I was using the Dolphy guide.
Okay.
Yeah. And I watched the video about 5 times because I was like, no, what am I doing wrong?
Maybe you're getting lag.
It's entirely possible that I am. The other thing is that I am extremely bad at timing.
Oh. I was going to say, let's blame the internet.
It could be an IDT problem. Or ID10T, sorry.
ID10T, yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to get it done, and currently failing. But, before the show, I did Twilight Arbor Forward Path with Romo and his guildies, and they kind of carried me, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, we're going to run past, like, half of it? Well, okay.
Miss all the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think my next goal for Fungeons is try to do the Aether Path.
I really need to, just because I should probably try and get the achievements that are there, right?
Yeah, I'm missing 2 or 3 of them as well, so...
Yeah.
I'm sure there's others in Mock that just need to do it once even, so...
Yeah. Like, I need to get all of the chests. I haven't done that.
We should make a plan.
We should.
But not live stream it because that would take hours.
It would.
Hours.
We live stream on Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. EDT, 6:30 p.m. PDT at twitch.tv/MMOreporter. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast on iTunes or Stitcher or YouTube for video versions if you like. Mm-hmm. And remember to rate and review us so that we know that we are awesome.
Yay!
And so other people will know that we're awesome.
Yay!
We are also currently running a Kickstarter. You can find it at tinyurl.com/MMOreporterPAX. It's there so that Chris and his team are able to fund their trip to PAX Prime in August. You know, so you get some more of the excellent content that's been coming out from them doing PAX for the last 4 years.
Think we're ready for another attack?
From land, air, or sea, we won't be caught off guard again.
Report from Lion's Arch.
Long live Lion's Arch.
There was, of course, the points of interest. It had Ruby, Colin Johansson, Hugh Norfolk, Joshua Davis, Drew Cady, who is a sound designer, Jerry Schroeder, who's a sound designer, Andre Becker from Overwolf app design winner, Rom from Orange Logo, Helseth from Civilized Gentleman, and Chaith from The Abjured. The last three are from the PvP teams.
Yes.
It was a big show. I liked it. They went over a ton of stuff. They did break it down specifically. It started with Ruby and Colin, and they talked about the changes in the definition of beta across the industry. And Colin said, people write full reviews for beta weekends and to some degree making purchasing decisions based on those.
The way that everybody has been treating a beta now, it's like they're treating it as a preview or a head start.
Yeah.
Where in some betas, you're actually not getting wiped at all. But I think that if you're going to have a beta, A, you're supposed to be searching for bugs, not really playing the content. And B, you definitely should not be expecting to see a finished, polished game.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people making judgments on the Revenant as a profession. And now they're probably educated guesses.
True.
To a certain degree. But it's not done.
It's not done. None of this is done yet.
Yeah. The next quote that we pulled from Ruby was, people are upset because the game is not finished.
Yeah, and they both kind of made, like, these horrified exclamation noises, like, ah, you people, sort of noises.
I missed that, actually, when I watched it. That's funny.
It's impossible to not agree with them because you realize that it's like, okay, a beta is a beta. It is not a full release.
At the same time, Colin did say that the Revenant for this weekend was less a beta bug testing and more a, here, play with this in this current state.
Mostly because they added the staff weapon and Ventari, and those are two big changes because it adds this very healing-based core build to the Revenant itself. So it's like, okay, you guys have played with it, you're somewhat familiar with it, now let's try this. And see how you guys feel about it. How is it balanced? Does it feel good? Do the hits feel satisfying? That sort of thing.
A very small pool of people got to play the first time around, or even at any of the events that they had the Revenant available for. I think for the majority of people trying it out, it was the first time that they had played the Revenant.
Yeah, and now that this is just gated by pre-purchase or some press as well. I felt like the staff healing bubble thingies on the ground.
Bubble.
You know, I might have been feeling like playing Super Adventure Box lately. Maybe. I felt like they weren't large enough to see on the ground. Like, they were just kind of like these little pinpricks of light, and I didn't really see them very well.
I saw them fairly clearly, but I was also out in Blood Tide. There was nobody else around. It was me attacking one creature, so I'm like, I had forgot about them, to be honest. And then I was like, what are these? Oh, yeah! oh, this is the thing. I totally forgot about it. But I could see how in a Ginormo fight where there's a bazillion effects, they'd be like, what's the point? Just
Yeah.
if you happen to see someone who looks like a Revenant using a staff, just run around like an idiot. You might get some healing.
The only way you were going to be able to pick them up is if you were constantly circle strafing the enemy.
Yeah.
Like, they never appeared in front of you. They appeared to one side.
See, I tend to fight that way anyway, so I guess that wouldn't bother me. Like, I very rarely just plant in one spot.
I don't usually plant in one spot either, but very rarely do I just actually circle strafe around the enemy.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know how to do that either. I just mostly dodge every which way. I'm like a jumping bean.
They also gave you the option to get gear that is customizable in that you opened up these boxes and it would allow you to use gear that's kind of like the ineffable stats. So you're able to double click it, select a stat, and then put it on.
Yeah, they were exotics, level 80 exotics, but you got to choose which stat combo you wanted to go with. And again, because I didn't watch Points of Interest until after the weekend was pretty much over, you also get the option to open all these boxes all at once and overfill your inventory.
Yes.
Cal was logging in to try the Revenant, and I said, you're going to get 3 essentially champ boxes, for lack of a better term, gear boxes. And I said, do not open them unless you want to change any of the things you already are equipped with. Do not open them all, because you will not have room for everything. I had to delete them all. Delete, because I had no room. I deleted all the weapons that a Revenant couldn't use.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's no point keeping these. They can't even equip them. And then I deleted all but one set of additional armor, so that I would at least have the option to kit that out.
Right, but I mean, like, it came with tuning crystals and sharpening stones and foods and stuff like that, so you could kit out the character quite well.
That was in a different box, though.
Yeah, that's true.
It was nice. I just wish I had this information up front. And I would have if I had watched Points of Interest.
Yeah. They also went on to kind of revise their stance on the Holy Trinity and how I've always taken it this way as well, is that they don't want a character to fall into one particular instance of the Holy Trinity. So they don't want a character a profession that's stuck with just doing DPS or just doing healing or just doing tanking. Mm-hmm. Colin kind of went back and he was like, no, here's what we actually meant. We never said that we don't want to have DPS, tank, and healer in the game, and I think that's a common misconception. We never said we don't want those things. What we said is we don't want people locked into one of the roles forever. I.e., you're a blank. You must blank for encounters. And that's what they were trying to avoid. And I think that's something that people weren't really aware of.
Mm-hmm. Also, it sounds like a pickup line, the way you said that. Just throwing that out there.
All right, then.
You're a blank. You must blank for encounters.
Well, the whole issue and the reason that Guild Wars 2 avoids like a straight healer like Guild Wars 1 had was because people don't want to, quote, wait for fun by waiting for their group to have a healer or for groups' fun or experience to be dependent upon one person doing a specific task, role, job, assignment.
But if you're one of the people that like to do that, there's a role for you.
Yes.
It may not be as rewarding as some of the other roles.
Right, but there's always the option to go straight bore into a line and go this specific specializations and stuff like that.
Yeah. So why humans only for Revenants this time around? Voiceover and animation for other races hasn't been completed yet. And that totally makes sense.
Yep.
There's a lot of voiceover that's going to happen too, because if your character talks to the legends...
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of chatter.
Yes, it is. Doing beta events on the live client is, quote, mind-blowing. +1.
+1 from you.
Yeah.
Beta characters get a copy of your account. Everything is added to that copy, but that copy doesn't get added back to your account when the beta character is wiped at the end of the weekend. Or ever. It is a completely separate.
Yes.
I, of course, like other people, I got all this stuff, put it in the bank, go on to another character. They're not there. Or take stuff out and put it on my Revenant, go on to another character. They're still there in my bank. So, again, I kind of wish I watched the point of interest sooner to better understand this, because they talked about how, you could have used all the transmutation charges and they'd still be there on your account.
Right.
It's just the beta bubble that would use them all. So I just thought that was really interesting. They also mentioned that it took 9 months to fix the culling issues in the game.
Yeah, this was in response to people who are like, well, just press the button and turn it on.
Yeah. Flick the switch.
It took 9 months and about 3 or 4 people, I guess is what he had said,
Mm-hmm.
of them focusing on nothing else but culling to fix it.
Yeah, there was probably a faster way they could have done it, but to do it properly, that's what it took.
Yes.
And you know what? It's been so long that I've ever even thought about culling that I even forgot it had been an issue. To the point where when I was watching it with Cal, I'm like, what was culling again? It's like,
I had to look it up.
he said that's when you'd be in an area and you couldn't see any other players, even though there were hundreds of other players. I'm like, right.
Yeah, and now you can decide to turn culling on if you want.
If you want to be an island in the chaos.
If you want to kind of not have to render that many people,
Well,
essentially.
Yeah.
As far as changes in Stronghold, the only thing that wasn't added from the blog post that they hadn't already talked about was the overtime mechanic. And when you or the Lord is in combat and the game were to end, you can go into overtime, because it's a 15-minute set match. Mm-hmm. And if you aren't done by 15 minutes, what would happen is you would get basically kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
So now you get the chance to go ahead and finish the fight. If you're at like 1450 and you're fighting the Lord, well, it's going to keep going.
Actually, I thought it was 20 minutes prior, and if it timed down, whoever had the highest score won the match.
Oh, well, see, now they're saying it was 15 on the play, at least.
Because one of the concerns with Stronghold is that it does take longer to play it.
Oh, yeah.
So that must be these are things that they've added to that to try speed it up.
Mm-hmm.
They had our new favorite thing.
Yes.
Which was Bells and Missiles, which is a really cute name.
It's an amazing name. It's perfect.
I know, isn't it? This is the sound designer guys, Drew Cady and Jerry Schroeder.
Mm-hmm.
This was awesome. They talked about the videos that they had put out prior to the game launching, which we've talked about several times because we love them so much. So it was really nice to see them again. And they talked about how, the audio that they've done for the Mordrim Breachers and the depth of the sounds.
Oh, yeah. It's not just one noise you're hearing, guys. This is
layers.
Maybe 5 or 6 layered with different pitches and speeds and stuff like that. And it's very complex.
Yeah. It's like painting with sound.
It is.
They had video of using plaster for making slurpy, nostrily noises. And that was very smart of them to do video of that and not actually have the plaster in the studio. Ruby joked about how, we don't need that on the expensive equipment. And she's not wrong.
No, she's not wrong, but I totally saw some plaster splatter get onto the foam cover on the mic that was right there on the soundstage, and I was like,
Well, that's what the covers are for. You just pull that off, put a new one on.
Well, yeah. But still, it was kind of like, oh, that's a couple bucks right there.
Cost of doing business.
Yes. They were talking about how they would get different consistency of the plaster, and that would change the way that the sound would happen. And how, you do like a plunger or like a slime machine sort of thing, or, like hand farting and stuff like that into it would just be this like amazingly goopy noises. Oh man, I would have so much fun with that.
I've often thought that Foley is like, you put in here and it's true. It's like watching live magic.
It is.
I've always thought that it was just super interesting. For me, I saw the making of Jurassic Park, and they were doing how they made the T-Rex roar.
Oh, yeah.
And the different layers that they had used to create that like big sound. And so I'm like, I love it. I think it's so awesome. They use like a rubber band rubbing across a muted moist drum head, rubbing a hand across an upright bass, howling and scratchy noises with a bow across the bottom string rim of the bass. The cardboard edges was awesome. Like
it hurt my ears.
I could hear where they were going. Like some of these, because they were doing them, air quotes, live.
Yeah.
Not in their studio environment. Things aren't necessarily going to behave.
Yeah.
But you could still see where they were going with it. So it was really interesting.
Jerry put like a bird call thing in his mouth, and you could see Ruby just like freak out with how loud that thing was. I was listening to it and I was like, oh my god, what the heck kind of noise is that? It was so cool.
Yeah. Ruby did ask them how to get into sound design.
Yes.
Their very sound advice, haha, pun, unintentional, was make weird mouth noises as a child. Or music, you know.
That's pretty much how it goes.
Something structured or something basically that gets you thrown out of class.
Drew had said, if I'm going to throw something out, I bring it to work first and break it, and then I'll throw it out. So he does hitting it with a hammer and then like dropping a shot put onto it and stuff like that. All these kinds of different noise elements that you can get from breaking certain things.
I would totally donate stuff if I lived close by. I have stuff I'm throwing out. Do you want it? Do you want it to break it?
Do you want to break my stuff?
I'm just throwing it out.
I seriously have the feeling that the sound guys were as happy as pigs in mud when they found out that the game was going towards a jungle area, and they had the idea that there was going to be a lot of ambient noises that they were going to need to make.
I kind of see the noises from the jungle being similar-ish to the ambient noises in Cursed Shore. Those weird kind of bird calls and...
Somewhat.
But more.
Yeah.
More alive, obviously.
And a lot more variety as well.
Yes. So I was really... More bells and missiles. Yay.
Yes, please.
Yay. Anything with fire will be appreciated, because that's always fun.
Bonus points if they do it live.
Oh my god. That is not going to happen. If they're not going to allow plaster on the set, they're not going to allow flame. This is the day we killed Ruby. That would be the headline.
Pretty much.
Moving on from the awesomeness of audio, they had Andre for his Overwolf app. He was the winner, and his app was called Who's Talking? And it basically places a speaker icon over the speaking character in-game for the person who is speaking in TeamSpeak. So it only works if everyone has the app installed. So if I think it's like if you're in a party of 5, all 5 people need to be in TeamSpeak and have the app installed for it to work.
Right.
It helps to keep the other players less anonymous in World vs. World. It's especially useful with Zergs, so you don't run off following other people. Or I guess you don't have to be in a team then.
I'm not sure if you have to be teamed up or not. I haven't tried it.
Because at World vs. World, that's just a huge number of people.
That's very true, yeah.
He learned from his previous app challenge with markers. So in this one, he focused on one core function and threw everything else out the window. And there's new API in development, so there's a plethora of new API options are happening, and we've been talking about them on the show as well, but there's just a ton. There's a ton of stuff happening.
There's a lot happening, and it's changing all the time, and there's a lot of stuff that they want to have happen too. If you're ever curious, there's a page out there somewhere. I guess I can try and find a link.
We're very informative.
I'll try and find a link for it. But there's a page that shows all the different things that they want to do with the API, all the different API recalls, I guess if you want to call them that they want to have out. And it tells you exactly when they're in development or if they've been denied, postponed, that sort of stuff.
I just want to be able to use my phone and log in and guild chat with people from wherever I am, as was mentioned before the game launched as the extended experience. I'm not going to say promised,
All right.
That's really all I want.
Yeah.
The ability to, like, who's online, and talk with people in-game.
That would be pretty awesome.
That's really what I want. Finally, the last segment was PvP 101, which wasn't really PvP 101 in this case, because it was definitely not new players. It was Rom, Helseth, and Chaith, but they did talk about how they got started with PvP. The tips were duel as much as you can, which admittedly I've never done.
Me neither.
Hot join, which I guess is just unranked.
Yeah.
Is that what they mean by hot join?
Yes.
Okay. They aren't a great place to learn. Custom servers are more ideal. I'm into the frying pan, I say, because I've only ever done unranked. Well, a couple ranked, but you know.
Yeah, I've only ever done unranked or ranked. For practice ones, it's been when I don't have enough time for an actual map. And
Yeah.
I'm just gonna game it so I can get my daily.
Yeah. Obviously, they suggest practice. And also watch the highest tier of players, ask them questions, and be persistent about it. So if someone swears at you, just ignore them and keep harassing them, apparently. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
They were kind of like that. They were like, if I don't answer a whisper, well, send me a mail, and, if I don't respond right away, send me another mail, and stuff like that. And I'm kind of like, are you sure you want people to be like this?
If you hear back saying, please never contact me again, that's probably don't do that. But
That's a clear sign to stop.
yes. They talked about the modality of learning. So play all the classes, learn about the key skills, pick your best weapon, and master it. And I think that's just true for PvE as well, honestly.
It's not as important in PvE. You definitely don't have to play all of the classes.
Well, no, but I do find it's better to just pick a weapon and stick with it until you really understand what each of the things do.
Yeah.
If I'm playing a character that I don't play very often, and it's a weapon set that I don't use very often, I'm like, I'm just button mashing at this point. Burr, burr, burr.
That happens to me sometimes, too.
That's off cooldown? Use it. Doesn't matter if it's any good for this situation.
And I am very much guilty of that in PvE.
Yeah.
Just being like, la da 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 da. Oh, 5's up? Well, okay, let's use it.
Because, oh crap, that's a block.
Yeah.
And nothing was even gearing up to hit me. That's
Exactly.
great. The other point for this modality of learning was being good at the game is knowing your matchups, knowing what other professions can do at the same time. Very hard. I would say that's a pretty high level of play, honestly.
Definitely. And if you're interested in becoming, one of the top tier players, they definitely recommend going into the 1v1 duel arenas and just trying to earn as much notoriety and recognition as you can while doing that.
You know what? The 1v1 terrifies me far more than the 5v5s.
I've had, during matches, a couple of 1v1s that have gone really well.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, not so much.
Yeah.
But I've had a couple that were actually educational.
Oh, that's good.
So I'm always really appreciative, and I try to whisper that person and be like, good match or whatever, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least I learned something. It wasn't a completely pointless match.
Well, yeah. Or you could just blame something for being OP.
They also talked about, because the video with Rom, Helseth, and Chaith was pre-recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So then we also had a pretty brief talk with Hugh about the Stronghold map again and some of the changes that they made. A few of the key points that they pulled out was that archers are faster than door breakers now.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll prioritize hitting the guards ahead of players or the gate or anything like that. So they're going to rush right up to the guards and start hitting that right away.
Yeah. They added something called behind enemy lines. So if you die in the enemy's stronghold, and if you have supply...
Mm-mm.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you just drop 2 supply magically out of your behind. Is that true?
Yes.
So... Okay, then I misunderstood that. I understood that if you had supply on you and you died, you just dropped it everywhere.
Nope. It was just, if you're there and you die, you drop it.
Ah. Well, how come I couldn't use it if I had it? Clearly I had it on me.
Because it was stuck way up higher derriere.
Derriere. So, yeah, that was Points of Interest. Our recap of it was almost as long as the actual Points of Interest.
Oh, not even. That thing was like almost 2 hours.
Well, we're coming up.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about the teaser image that was released on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can all pretty much agree that that is definitely Shiro Tagachi.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah, the last core legend of the Revenant. It might not be, but come on.
It totally is.
It totally is. Yeah. I don't really have an awful lot to add as far as speculation on this. I know Wooden Potatoes has a couple videos already. Well, one specifically about Shiro. It's really good. And honestly, I think if you don't know anything about Shiro, it's probably the best video to watch.
If you're ever concerned about playing factions, though, I wouldn't watch it.
Well, that's true. It's very spoilery.
But it absolutely is like the most informative version of lore that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's well done.
Do you require my assistance?
Ask an Azura.
Excelsior.
This is an in-game message that we both got in-game. I guess Troubled Toaster decided to double up and send it to both of us.
It's best that way. It really is.
Yeah. Just saying hi. This is Troubled Toaster from the Twitch TV chat and also Twitter. Just wanted to say hi and say that I'm a big fan of the show and listen to the podcast while I'm at work. Wonderful! I was wondering now, with the new trait specialization system in place, what's the best way to describe your build? We used to use numbers, but now we've got pretty pictures. I'm really loving the new system, though. If you guys are ever interested in having listeners share builds on the show, you guys can try them and talk about what you liked. That's an interesting thing to do.
Yes, I don't have any qualms with doing that at all. So, as far as describing them, I haven't really found a good way to describe builds ever. Yes, with air quotes. Builds. With the new system, though, I do tend to say the specialization name, which traits I've picked using directions, like up, middle, down, or top, middle, bottom.
Mm-hmm.
All up, all down, all middle, up, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Irish Dog is saying up, mid, down. So there you go. Apparently other people are doing it too, so thumbs up.
Yep. That's pretty much what I've been doing. Just like skirmishing, up, or whatever. My tip for this week is to find a buddy for dailies. It makes everything a lot more enjoyable, even if you just have one friend running along with you.
Mm-hmm.
It shakes things up a bit.
My tip, gather all the things. It only takes a second or two, and you can sell what you don't need. And if you're running with a buddy who gets frustrated when you stop to sell or gather silver, go, meh, and gather it anyway.
Yeah.
Hunter loves it when I stop to get silver.
So a reminder, of course, is don't forget about the game for Surviving the Mists. With every successful ArenaNet R&D siege creation, there are 5 terrible ones that didn't make the cut. Describe a siege machine that ANET decided not to put into the upcoming expansion. You can submit via any communication medium, whether it's Tumblr, Twitter, email, or Facebook, or Semaphore even. We'll try and figure it out, but it's not very likely.
Like how I snuck that in. Mm-hmm. Or Semaphore.
Tales of Tyria.
We found this beautiful watercolor-ish Sylvari portrait, and by Lickfoot. Oh, Tumblr, you and your names. I love this piece. The eyes and smile are just great.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's just so open and green and alive, for lack of a better term.
And for being very green, there's a whole lot of purple.
Mm-hmm.
I think I even know which pieces of armor those are.
I use that mantle on my L a lot.
Yeah, and the top is the carapace, I think. Or no, it's the cultural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over on Twitter, Tizerbauer decided to share one of her engineer commission drawings that she does on the side. Mm-hmm. And this one he looks so cool.
Yeah. He is pretty awesome looking. I actually saw Jebro had retweeted this, mm-hmm. and I really liked it there. And I didn't really notice who had done it originally. And so when I saw that it was in the show notes here, I'm like, oh yeah, that was really awesome. I really liked it. And then I realized I actually don't follow Tirza on Twitter at all. And so I'd gone and looked and like, she has a great Twitter feed. So I'm totally following now.
Yeah.
She does felting, little animals out of felt, and we'll post pictures of them. They're adorable.
Yeah, the needle felting has always been something that I've been wanting to try, but I am not good with little details. So it's very cool, though.
Yeah.
Now, over on Tumblr, someone decided to make a Lisa Frank-inspired Azura. And as a child of the 90s, this amuses me greatly.
What did I say in response to that?
That you don't know what Lisa Frank is.
Because I don't have any frame of reference for this at all.
Basically, if you were in elementary school and you did not have this on your Trapper Keeper, you were not popular.
What is a Trapper Keeper?
A binder?
Oh, okay.
Kind of.
Okay. Oh, the ones with the like the...
Uh-huh.
Okay, with the Velcro?
Yes, that's called a Trapper Keeper.
Pretty sure we had a different name for it.
Really?
Been out of school for too long. I don't know anymore.
Well, this is Lisa Frank with 2 I's and 2 K's because of all of the double lettering on Azura names. And honestly, I just loved it. The illustration version, I think, is even better than the in-game image capture. Yes. Neon puppies and kittens romping around with a rainbow background. Sounds about right.
Yeah. It is cute. I was like, ooh, I saw your note about how you were just absolutely charmed by it. And I'm like, I don't get it. Celeste had to send me an image of Lisa Frank stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I still don't know.
Well, okay. It was a big thing.
I do love dolphins, so there's that.
Yes. But Lisa Frank was a thing when I was a kid. Well, okay, if you were a girl in elementary school and you didn't have this, there was issues. Scratch and sniff stickers. Oh, man.
I loved scratch and sniff stickers.
I don't remember.
That I have a frame of reference for. I understood that reference. I'm totally going to quote Captain America as much as I can.
Yes. Thanks for coming to the show and having a wonderful conversation with us. I really appreciate how active the chat is. So, guys, thanks again for stopping by, and we hope to see you in game.
Legion calls.
So if you have a community event that you would like for us to share, go ahead and send us an email.
Seize the moment.
And if you've got a burning question or for our Ask an Azura segment, just let us know.
I'm selling. You buying?
We have coupon codes for Doghouse Systems. Use the coupon code MMO Reporter at doghousesystems.com to get an additional 120 gigabyte Super Star Destroyer drive for free on their next build.
Nice gear.
Or a star-studded diaper.
Or a star-studded diaper.
Yep.
No free samples.
Patreon page. If you're in love with the show or the network, please consider becoming a patron on our Patreon page.
Thanks for pitching in.
In the very least, it helps us keep the metaphorical lights on. So check it out at patreon.com/MMO Reporter.
That fulfills my needs. Thanks so much.
audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. Books!
Books, now with sound!
Knowledge is the greatest treasure.
If you want a free audiobook, you should go to audibletrial.com/MMOreporter.
That's valuable.
So, Allona, if people want to get in contact with us, how would they do so?
They would email us at gwreporter@mmoreporter.com. Twitter is @gwreporter. Our website is guildwarsreporter.com.
You must visit more often.
Voicemail is 616-666-6778, or use the widget on the right-hand side of the website. Our YouTube channel is MMO Reporter Network, and remember to like our videos and subscribe to the GW Reporter playlist. And if you feel like it, wander around and see what other shows are on the network that you might enjoy.
You are a welcome guest.
Facebook is GW Reporter. Tumblr is gwreporter.tumblr.com.
In a world where you can visit us on Twitter, I am Ultra at UltraTown.
Find me at Hunter's Insight.
Allona may be found at One Big Pair.
As in PEAR.
And Celeste at Celly Uki.
CELEOOKIE.
Yeah. Or you can visit us in-game.
I'm OneBigPair.1249.
And Ultra is?
UltraTown.5683.
And I'm Selyuki.5046.
May the spirits of the wild watch over you.
Good hunting.
Keep your blade sharp and your powder dry.
Take care of yourself.
May the Six watch over you.
Until next time.
And that would change the way that the sound would be, that the sound would, happen.
Oh, you just dropped 2 supply magically out of your behind. Is that true? You're coughing, aren't you?
Yes and yes.
Well, yeah, and especially, well, okay, this wasn't part of my tip, but I think it's a good tip. I would voice chat. If you're in a guild that has voice chat, pop in, and I agree with Hunter. Actually.
Click.
I mean, it's still good, but in the spectrum of ranking things, I would put it at the bottom. I have solidarity. Yes, yes, yes. He's completely right.
Okay, yes. Like grinding 10k versus a faction in order to, get through the story was awful. But I loved the environment. I loved the music. I loved the characters. And I had a lot of fun.
Koenig City and the Echovald Forest were unpleasant. However, everything else, all the other environments were great. Just those two were like, ugh.
I agree that Koenig City was awful. And I hated the areas around them with all the different mazes.
Oh, it took forever to get anywhere.
If they had had jumping in Guild Wars 1, that would have been a lot more fun.
True. And Echovald Forest was just dreary. I mean, it was supposed to be. It was kind of goth, emo land.
Right, but if you look at the trailer before that, one of the, Saint Victor in the trailer, he looks exactly like he did before. They just all look like Princess Amidala. Awesome. So that was like canon for them. That was totally normal.
Yeah. I mean, I still really enjoyed it. It just, in the grand scheme of the Guild Wars 1 offerings, it is at the bottom for me.
Okay.
It's still high. Like, it's higher than most other games. But nothing beats Nightfall. It's just the fact of the matter.
I mean, if they want to do that too, that's fine too.
We aren't ones to judge.
Yeah.
Actually, yes, we are. We just don't.
We don't usually say it out loud.
Yeah, we just quietly judge.
Yes.
They need to have sharks with lasers on their head in the bay.
That would be amazing.
Sharks with laser beams on their head.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.